The Partial Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 69
of the Partial Breakaway Fantasy Hockey Love Machine Podcast.
Let's get it on.
Oh, God. Guys, welcome to episode 69. This is the one episode that producer Vince has been looking forward to for a very long time here. Big reason why is because he's a child.
Man-child.
I would like to...
And lacking maybe some intimate affection.
Oh, yeah, that's very possible. I hear being married with 3 kids is quite the romantic ordeal. Guys, happy Super Bowl hangover. I heard that it was quite a game. I watched half of it and fell asleep.
Yeah, well, we left at halftime, so it couldn't have been that good.
It was the greatest Super Bowl ever.
I put my son to bed, passed out with him, woke up with 2 minutes left just to see the celebrations at the end, and that was it.
I just woke up because I had to see who won the squares competition.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were running the squares competition.
Yeah, and he jinxed you because you were up until a minute and 55 left. You had it, and he's like, Nick, don't go to bed.
Mahomes had to throw like a 50-yarder to
Xavier Worthy,
who finally, I think that was the quietest 140-yard performance
Two
and 2 touchdowns that I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it was
Garbage time.
yeah,
Right?
He didn't even
Exactly.
celebrate. He just spiked the ball and got the hell out of there.
Well, today we have a special Four Nations edition of the episode, and we also have a special Valentine's Day because Junior is a hopeless romantic and wishes to do something for Valentine's Day, which I do not understand. But if you
I'm
like,
just trying to spread love.
if you like Junior's corniness, please promote us on social media. Hit follow and subscribe. Put your alerts on so you know when our YouTube goes live. Give us a 5-star review if you don't mind, because this man needs some love. Guys, it's going to be fun. We have our usual Oddman Rush. Mm-hmm. We also have today our Four Nations draft. So there's no actual
Tash Tatsuk.
there's no actual website that's keeping track of this that we found. So we're going to be doing old school Excel sheet, pen and paper, picking our teams, and it's going to be a fun one because we have a bunch of rules that we're trying to implement to make it more interesting and more strategic as well.
Yeah.
And we pretty much just came up with this prior to going live, so it's not like we had much prep work or any of that.
Sorry, do we ever have prep work? I mean,
Speak for yourself, all right?
I don't
Frozen
know.
Tools is always on in this.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's it. All right, cue the Oddman Rush music.
Oddman Rush.
Yeah! Let's get it started.
Hello, ladies.
Nick, let's start with you. I know you own this kid in one of your leagues, Andrew Cristal. 92 points in 39 games played, on absolute fire. Second round pick of the Washington Capitals. Do we think this can translate well to the NHL?
Well, we've seen smaller players have success in the NHL, right? And Andrew Cristal is the type that's very, very intelligent. So just in that aspect of it, I think that could help translate. However, a lot of the NHL scouts supposedly are not that high on him. And a big reason is his size, obviously. He's not necessarily the fastest skater. So being small and not the fastest skater, a lot of NHL scouts don't really have a lot of confidence in that. But Andrew Cristal is putting up crazy points. Do I think it's going to translate? I really hope so because I own him. But it's a wait and see, right? I think his fantasy upside, according to Dauber, is 9 out of 10. He's a 90% chance of actually being in the NHL. Just is he going to be in a top 6 role? Is he going to be a top power play guy?
Well, maybe being on a line with Ryan Leonard, big body,
Somebody that can make room for you.
make
Yeah,
room
but
for you. You know,
young
like sometimes that has a lot to do
young
with it too.
players, they never.
Well, eventually, right?
Yeah,
We're not talking
eventually.
about necessarily this year, but eventually that might be a line combination.
Listen,
When Ovi retires,
Yeah.
somebody's going to have to take over some of the offensive capabilities, right?
He went in the second round because of his size. It wasn't because of his talent that he went into the second round.
Correct.
Everybody was afraid of his size. So, listen, we like you said, we've seen smaller players succeed in the NHL. It's a little harder when you have that physical pedigree.
Right. Right.
Ding! Bell. All right, Vince, we all agreed when the trade was done that Natchez would probably end the season with more points than Rantanen would. But did you think he'd have already 8 points in 7 games? And is this a result of just him being in a different system, or the difference between playing with McKinnon and playing with KK?
I think it's a bit of both because we're seeing Rantanen struggle in a new system, whereas Natchez, we're seeing him flourish in a new system. And yes, Rantanen was playing with McKinnon, which is a huge difference, but Rantanen's still playing with Sebastian Aho, which is not a slouch, right? It's not like he's going down to play with KK. He's playing with Sebastian Aho. So I think this is just Nick Ash proving that he's got talent. Always had that talent, never got that opportunity with Carolina. And opportunity presented itself to him. And listen, playing with McKinnon never hurts. Playing on a power play with Kale McCarr and McKinnon definitely doesn't hurt. So, I mean, I think it's a bit of both, but this is more. I think this is more of Nick Ash saying, I belong in this league and I could play at a high level in this league.
So I want to throw out some stats. Because of the big blockbusters that occurred on January 25th, there was David Pagnotta came out on Friday, this past Friday. So these stats are a little bit outdated, so I apologize, but they're from Friday. Mikko Rantanen, 6 games played, 1 goal, 1 assist since the trade. Taylor Hall, 5 games played, 0 goals, 1 assist since the trade. Martin Necas, 7 games played, 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points in 7 games. Drac Jury, 7 games played, 2 goals. So obviously Necas is the best player right now so far, starting off on a hot foot. Rantanen is most likely going to start catching up sooner or later, but we said it at the beginning, and I think it came exactly as we said. New team, new system, not easy Carolina system to get adapted to. All of this is a big difference.
To add to your point, when he asked for a trade, Natchez, it was because he saw himself as a play driver and handling the puck into the
number
zone.
one power play, and he wasn't getting it.
And he wasn't getting it. And now you see him in a freewheeling system in Colorado, where he's actually handling the puck and bringing it through the neutral zone and so on.
And we should say the reason why he wasn't necessarily getting all the opportunity in the world, because he was getting power play 1 in Carolina this year. But the reason why he wasn't getting it all is because he wasn't defensively sound in a Brendan Moore system that requires two-way play.
It's a
right?
system.
So the system, he wasn't a good fit in that system, and we see it in the NFL all the time. If you're not a good fit in that system, maybe you succeed somewhere else. Look at Sam Darnold, 14 wins this year. Raiders
Future Raiders quarterback. All right, ding. Nick, on to you. Another player I think you own in Lama, I believe, but the Isles are supposedly taking calls or receiving calls on Noah Dobson. Are the Islanders crazy? And what does it mean for his fantasy value if he does get traded? I mean, there's not many worse teams he could go to in terms of productiveness that could make it worse. So as a Dobson owner, are we excited for a trade to happen?
Well, one thing I've learned in life young Jedi
That
is
taxes and your terrible picks, or
that no. One thing that I've learned in life is that it could always get worse.
yeah,
Anything could always get worse.
yeah.
The Islanders, according to 32 Thoughts, the podcast, which came out today, by the way, Elliot Friedman said that he's not convinced that Noah Dobson's name was put out there by the Islanders. However, in a certain trade package, quote unquote, might have been Vancouver for Elias Pettersson, Dobson was offered as one of the pieces for that trade.
Speculative, by the way.
So if they're making Dobson available, it's not for your first round pick and a couple of scrubs. We're talking about they want an impact forward around the same age group that could literally be a star for a star trade, like blockbusters trade. And I think that's absolutely right. I mean, if you have an asset like Noah Dobson, you don't trade him for anything less than a superstar.
Fair enough. Fair enough, Vince. No?
Yeah. Look,
All right, on to you, Vince. The last NHL, I guess. Anyways, Quinn Hughes out of the Four Nations. Maybe he could have played, maybe not. They say a lot of it has to do with Vancouver still being in the hunt for the playoffs, and they didn't want to risk it. Jake Sanderson gets the call up for the U.S. team in the Four Nations, but is Quinn Hughes the MVP this far in the season?
Well, you're wearing a certain shirt, and that shirt was created because of Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes and Bouchard.
So is he a number one defenseman,
Well,
Junior?
so I like Nick said, we don't do our homework here and we don't prepare, so I don't have the exact stats, but I did on 32 Thoughts. They did say how the points, the goal totals, the difference when Quinn Hughes is on the ice to when he's not is like absolutely ridiculous. Like plus 100 plus and minus
No, it
100.
was plus 57 or goal differential when he's on the ice. Something like that. I have to look it up.
It was a
such a
ridiculous.
good
Basically,
stat.
saying like he runs whatever offense they can get.
The whole, and you kind of see it. Anyways, I don't want to get back to Montreal, but you kind of see it where you need sometimes that offensive defenseman that just creates from the back end and makes your forwards better.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what Quinn Hughes does. Just consistently makes the right pass, gets the guy open,
Create space and lanes.
space. Yeah. So a pleasure to watch.
So Vince, back to you. You didn't really say it take because Nick stole your thunder, but
No, come on.
listen, I think MVP, you're pushing it. I think there's a lot of players that are having a better season than Quinn Hughes. Is he the most important player on the Vancouver Canucks? Yes. Yes, but MVP, I mean, you're looking McKinnon, Draisaitl, Kucherovs, even Makar.
Yeah, but don't you
Makar.
don't you find if you remove Quinn Hughes from Vancouver, the lottery team?
A lottery team, they're in the bottom.
Well, the way Elias Patterson's playing this year,
That's based off what we know this year.
even without JT Miller, he hasn't done anything.
They won 3 straight, but
take
But it wasn't because of Elias Patterson.
take McKinnon out of Colorado now. Who do you have? Makar.
they
Yeah,
can
but,
still
but
make
Vancouver
a
has nothing.
Yeah,
That's what he's trying to say.
They have
They can
Elias
still make the
Patterson
playoffs.
who's not having a good season, but they still have another star there. Patterson, whether we like or not, is an elite player, having an off year, but he is.
Yeah,
But
but
we're talking about this
MVP. If they had to choose an
valuable player
MVP this
this
year, I think Quinn Hughes has to be among the finalists for sure.
I don't know.
Okay, so here's the thing.
In terms of
And-
most valuable, not the
I
best
think the
player, but the
confusion-
most valuable.
I think the confusion here is that oftentimes when we look at the NHL and how they do the MVP, it's like, okay, who had the most points? Okay, here you go, right? Which is not really what we are discussing is the most valuable player for your team. I think what Junior's trying to say is most valuable for your team. I would have to agree that Quinn Hughes is the most valuable player on his team and is probably more valuable than a lot of the other teams because they have more than one star. This year, again.
Yeah,
It goes down to like the coaching too, right? Coach of the year is always the most surprising team's coach. Then the next year, they're usually not that good anymore.
But
that
you
team,
still have to make the playoffs.
right? Yeah, you still have to make the playoffs, but it doesn't mean that
It's just
the best
weird
team in the
rules,
league,
man. It's weird.
the best team in the league doesn't have a good coach. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, well said.
Vince, you wanted to add something at the end there?
No, I'm just saying. The only thing I would say about Quinn Hughes,
shit.
with his
Sorry.
injury, dude, Junior almost electrocuted the whole panel over here.
Just
Listen,
these glasses.
Take off the glasses. He's wearing the yeet glasses.
the thing with Quinn Hughes here is if this was an Olympic event, I don't think he would have missed it.
Same.
I think he missed it just because it's a four nation. This is just something the NHL is trying to prep for the Olympics that they're going to be participating in. So it's a little tournament they're trying to get together. So that's it. But that's about it.
All right, you had
All
some
right.
corny
Yes,
questions
so
for us.
in the name of Valentine's, I have a few questions for you guys, a little rapid fire, if you will.
Who was Valentine?
He was a Cupid. All right, Nick, we'll start with you on this question. I want an answer from both of you. So, Nick, you go first here. What NHL player do you love or loved watching the most?
Alex Kovalev, Patrick Roy. It's between those two for myself because I grew up. I was born in '83, so I didn't really watch the Cup in '86 and understand it. But when we won in '93, that was 10 years old, and I remember how excited my parents were, how excited my father, my grandfather was. We went to the parade afterwards where Guy Carbonneau threw me his hat, and it was all Patrick Roy. I just remember everything about that whole playoffs because of Patrick Roy. So that was my first time I ever fell in love with a player. Patrick Roy was my childhood. This is who I want to be. And after that, when I got a little bit older, I just really appreciated what Kovalev would bring on the Habs. Just that skill, we just didn't have that skill. We never had that skill, and it was my first time seeing that. So those are my two answers.
Very nice. Vince?
Mario Lemieux, man. Mario, what could have been without the injuries, without the cancer? What could have been? And he's
The ultimate debate.
and he's still number 2 on some charts as a player in the NHL. I mean, he was the first big man to come in the NHL with skills, and he was just phenomenal. And then when he came back from cancer, and then I mean, there was so many moments. First game against Toronto, and he scored. It was. I just find he was just a phenomenal player just to watch, and just what he did on the ice for a big man at that stage where the NHL was. He was like the first person to do it. So I've always admired him for what he did.
Talking about coming back from cancer, when Saku Koivu came back from cancer,
Wow.
That was a moment.
I cried. I literally cried. I was a grown man crying.
Not that anybody cares, but I would have went with Pavel Bure.
Nope, you're right. Nobody cares.
Next,
You're hosting, so
Nick, we'll start with you this time. Vince, we'll start with you. Which notable NHL player would you ghost on a Valentine's Day fantasy draft? So now this is not like a scrap, like a player that would be drafted in Valentine's that for you, for whatever reason, there's something about him that I don't want him on my team.
JT Miller is a fucking asshole. He's a bully. I wouldn't want to go on Valentine's Day.
Can we like bleep that out or?
It's explicit. Screw it.
No, I would go JT Miller.
That was uncalled for. We were having such a good podcast.
JT Miller doesn't like the stories that have come out. It doesn't sound like a nice guy to be around. So.
Yeah, but you don't care from a fantasy perspective.
Yeah. Well, so what's your question?
Ghosting
Ghosting means you stop talking to them. It's not like you.
Yeah, but you're ghosting, you ignore them.
Exactly.
He would. So some people draft players that they like. Other
Okay.
people.
So
will
you would ignore him
people.
from a fantasy in a
Yeah,
fantasy draft.
100%.
Okay.
I don't
Fair
want
enough.
players like that on my fantasy team.
That's why he's never won.
I need positivity in my fantasy team.
Nick,
It's a stupid
I
question.
think that's. it's a stupid
you know what?
question.
The fans will like this. The listeners will like this.
Nobody will like this.
The question been, which NHL player would you ghost on a Valentine's dinner? At least, like, I don't know.
Anyways, okay. So next time you produce,
Yeah.
do I answer this or do you just skip?
Why?
No,
Just give an
answer,
answer. Come
Okay,
on.
man. All right. Rupe Hintz, he's always injured. I own him. I own shares of him, and he's always injured. And I don't know when he's in. I don't know when he's out. It hurts.
All right. Thank you for that. Moving on. Nick, which NHL team is your secret crush? Now, we know we're all Habs fans here, but which team is like a secret crush?
I have a thing. I don't know why, but I've always had a thing. I loved the way Calgary played. And they were always a blue collar team. They never really had superstars that were in the time that I was watching Calgary, they never really had superstars that would awe me, but I just enjoyed watching Calgary play, and more so than Vancouver, more so than the other Western Canadian teams. After the Habs game, I would put on TSN, and Calgary would be playing, and I'd just watch them, and I would enjoy their hard-nosed, blue-collar style.
I like that. Vince?
I'd say the Winnipeg Jets. That Shifley hit on Evans really got me. No,
Guys.
no, but
Wow, what a Valentine's episode this is. Jesus, crushing.
The guy almost took off his head. Evans is not going to resign with us coming soon.
But no, I'd say the Winnipeg Jets just because.
Shifley. You hate JT Miller, but you like Shifley.
But it's a
Okay.
team that's such a good product on the ice, but yet they can't sell out an arena. They like the fans, and it's not because the fans are not all in. They are, but the corporate money is not in Winnipeg, right? Like even people, like there was a poll that came out lately, 48% people would avoid going to Winnipeg. Remember from the Athletics that did
Their number one team on their no trade list.
no trade list would be Winnipeg, and I'm like,
Winnipeg.
I just to me, what they've done, that they lost the team, they came back and they paid players. They paid Shifley, they paid Hellebuck, and it's paying off now. I'm just hoping there could be some backing around them because the city deserves just to the playoffs. They've had the playoffs because they had a great team for the past 3 teams. So I secretly I'm rooting for them to get into those playoffs and like go far this year.
They need to learn to win in the playoffs, man. They do
Yeah.
everything right, and then they just can't win in
The
playoffs.
whiteout they're the ones who created the whiteout.
Yeah. All right. Well done. Let's move on, Nick, to Vince, to you again. Which NHL team is the biggest fan heartbreaker? So which team breaks the most hearts?
For me,
You start. You can't say the same answer.
I mean, there's no other like. I know who you're gonna go with, but I'm gonna go somewhere. Buffalo Sabres, man, they haven't.
Oh, wow,
they just
okay.
That's a good
haven't
answer.
won a cup in 29 years, and
I know, but it's hard to break a heart that's already broken.
Yeah.
Like it's never been
But it
full.
wasn't.
But
it
listen, I'm a
was-
Raiders
it
fan.
was- it was-
It's been 30 years since we're relevant.
it was full because
Yeah, when they made the
Hasek years
final,
and then
yeah.
that
The
toe-
Brett Hall,
the toe in the crease, you know. So they've had those
Pat
years, but it's
LaFontaine.
yeah,
La
it's
la
just-
la la
so-
la la Fontaine.
Yeah, so it's just the Buffalo Sabres, man. The Buffalo Sabres just every time you think it's gonna be the year where they're gonna do that push, you just
Best
miss it.
announcer ever.
Yeah,
Where Mama keeps the cookie.
Yeah.
Best announcer
He
ever.
retired
Yeah, he
last year or
retired.
2 years ago. Nick?
Look, the easy answer that
The right
would be-
answer.
The right answer, fine, but it would be the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I'm not talking from experience for myself.
Nick, why would you play that? You're just looking for hate. Hate mail.
But most of my friends that are actually Toronto Maple Leafs fans that are in our pools, that are talking to us all the time, they always say the same thing. I've actually literally seen their heart break. I've seen it with my own eyes, where we're in the playoffs, we're on Discord, we're watching the game together, and it's just like their hearts are breaking in front of us, right? The Habs did it to them. Also, Boston would do it to them. And every year they go into the playoffs with high hopes, thinking that this is their year. And every single year they've won one playoff round since 1967.
Those multiple series where they blew leads,
whatever.
that hurts even more,
In
right?
years, yeah.
All right. Moving on to
What about you? You're going to say the Islanders because they don't fill their stadium, even though they have a beautiful brand new stadium?
I was going to say
You saw Barzal.
I was gonna say Ottawa.
Because
because their fans always think they're going to win the cup and then they can't even make the playoffs.
he hates Ottawa fans. I don't know. This guy hates
All
them.
right. So moving on to the last question.
Not at Partial Break podcast, by the way. Just send it straight to Junior. All right.
All right. You can't
Sanderson,
you
number one
can't
defenseman?
pick yourselves. Which co-host do you love most? That's so sweet. Thank you very much for listening, everybody.
You're such a dumbass.
That does it, everybody, for the Oddman Rush.
Oddman Rush.
I need to take a break from these things I can't see.
No kidding.
Yeet.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am presenting the waiver wire pickups.
Ooh, how do we
Is
do?
there a song?
Ooh.
Oh, it's not wrong.
This is definitely not the right song.
Well, the price was right for some of us.
Way to save it. Way to save it.
So this basically, first sponsor, we've been sponsored by Sportira. So every time we do the waiver wire pickup, we're going to shout out Sportira. Sports apparel. If you guys need anything modified, website www.sportira.com. Give them a look. You need something. It doesn't hurt.
Uniforms.
Doesn't.
Equipment,
Basketball,
soccer.
flag football, soccer.
Yeah, custom any sport uniform, corporate stock hoodies or custom
Even
polos.
if you're just looking for a price range, send them an email. See what they tell you. They'll give you all the information. They have great people working there. So thank you to Sportira for helping this little podcast survive.
And they just launched B2C, so their website is friendly to all clients. So you can go on and start ordering right from the get-go. You don't have to be a client anymore.
How much more time before we get our partial breakaway gear on there?
It's in the process.
Good.
It's in the
Perfect.
process. We'll have a direct link to a store.
All right, so the waiver wire pickup brought to you by Sportira. Listen, we had a good, 2 out of 3 of us had a good week. So, which means as a team we had a good week. So, last week's pickups, Junior said Braden Shen. It was 48% rostered, 3 points in 3 games played. That's a win. So Junior goes 5 wins, 6 losses, 2 pushes. For myself, I went to Josh Doan, who was 11% roster. 11. You know what kind of risk that was? 11%. And
Vince, if I can interrupt you there, maybe next year we should do like extra points for roster percentage, like under 15, or maybe we should look into that. That'd be cool. We'll have a point system next year, maybe.
I don't think it's gonna help. So Josh,
We're a team, guys. We're a team.
So Josh Doan, 4 points in 4 games played. That's a win. So Vince's record, 10 wins, 3 losses. That's unbelievable. And finally, Nick took a risk. Went with a defenseman. We know defensemen are very risky. He went with a defenseman that not many people like. But he went with Tony DeAngelo.
He's right up there with JT Miller and Shifley.
So 46%. Unfortunately, in 3 games, he only got 1 point. So that's a loss for Nick. So 4 wins, 8 losses, 1 push for Nick. But collectively, as a podcast, we are over the 500 hump. We're at 19 wins, 17 losses, and 3 push. Obviously, there's no waiver pickup this week because there's no hockey for the next 10 days. Is it 10 days or 14?
Well, now that there's no hockey, there's no NHL,
hockey,
right?
sorry, yeah.
And just for a second there, we thought Nick was actually going to get the win.
I started off hot again.
Yeah.
Because his first game he got an assist, and then in his last game he got 2 goals
2 goals in his own
In
net.
his own
in
net.
his own net. So technically it counts as a win.
So, ladies and
Listen, if you ever want to know if I go in too fast and come out,
Okay, wait. Oh, okay. Let me
Valentine's
put
Day.
these love glasses back on here. What are we talking
I
about?
go hard at the beginning, guys.
Okay, Nick.
Just don't last long, all right? It's my age.
Slow it down. Use your sensual voice.
So there goes
Here we go.
there goes our waiver wire pickups. Obviously sponsored by Sportira.com.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
That was a good week, guys. That was a good week. Like we have to just support each other and keep us up when we're down. You know.
Yeah, just gotta support Nick.
JT Miller, Shifley, and now Tony DeAngelo. This guy's favorite. All right, guys. So, in this part of the episode, we are going to do what the reason why we actually love fantasy to begin with is the best part of fantasy is the draft. Actually, winning is the best part of fantasy, which Vince has never done. But
Nope, never.
the
You're
draft is the second best part of fantasy. And so we're going to have a draft for the Four Nations tournament because, Jesus, I'm going to be bored without fantasy for 2 weeks.
Seriously.
Right? I'm going to be so bored. So in this case, we came up with a fun little idea here where we're going to do the Four Nation tournament. And I'll just run through the rules very quickly so the listeners at home could keep up and pay attention, please.
The rules for the Four Nations or our draft rules?
Our draft rules, sorry. Actually, that's a good point. I want you to mention the rules for the Four Nation afterwards.
Awesome.
Because there's some pretty cool things that the NHL is trying out. So for our draft, for our fantasy draft for the Four Nations, we are going to pick who actually goes first, which co-host starts. We're going to do a randomizer for that. And then the next co-host in line will pick a different team. And then the last co-host will pick a different team from the previous 2 co-hosts. And then we move on a new round, and the following co-host will start.
Basically, one nation, only one player from one nation can be selected in the round.
Correct. We all have to pick different teams for that round. But then the next round starts. You pick first. You can pick whatever team you want to start off. And then I have to pick a different team. And then Vince has to pick a different team. And then we rinse and repeat until we have at least 4 players from each team on our roster. So, regardless of position, 4 players from each team. 4 from Canada, 4 from US, 4 from Finland. I'm talking to Junior because he keeps ignoring the rules, which is how we got into this position in the first place.
I'm writing it down because I totally forgot about that.
It's already on your Excel sheet that I shared with you. All right. We are picking 9 forwards, 3 defensemen for 12 total players. No goalies because it's very hard to know who's going to be starting. Montembeault might not get any games.
Yeah.
Right? We don't know. Each goal is going to count for 3 points, each assist for 2 points, and a special team point, regardless if it's power play or shorthanded, will count for 1 extra point for that player. Anything I forgot?
I think it's all good.
Are we good to start the randomizer?
If you guys are gonna watch it on YouTube, we're gonna actually share our screen so you guys can all see.
So in the name of the Super Bowl, we decided to do a 100-yard dash with our favorite team colors. So my guy is red and gold to represent the 49ers. Nick's is black and silver for the Raiders. And Vince is teal and orange for the Miami Dolphins.
And this is obviously virtually because if we would do this physically for real, none of us would even get to the 20 yards.
Oh, yeah, I'd be dead after
I
10.
think I'd win.
I'd have a heart attack after 10. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck to all of you. 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Okay, so Nick Junior Vince, second round Vince Junior Nick, third round Junior Nick Vince. I got it.
So we can't pick a player from the same.
Not in the same round.
Gotcha.
So next round, if you start that round, you pick whatever team
I'm
you want.
last. Okay, gotcha.
And then we go from there.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to start off here. And I think I have no choice. I'm going to go with McDavid for Team Canada. And he's playing on a line with Marner and Reinhardt, which is a pretty nice start for him, especially considering that Vince loves Marner and thinks he's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Also, McDavid is the top power play unit with Reinhardt, Crosby, McKinnon, and McCarr.
Wow.
Is that
Wow.
a nuts power play one?
Yeah.
Like, who could stop this? It's absolutely insanity. I just wanted to throw that out there because I think these are some of the smartest players in hockey right now, and they're all playing on the same power play. So we're going to give our little insights on why we're picking these players. Obviously, McDavid is McDavid, but what line he's playing on is huge.
So Canada has officially been exiled from this round.
Round one.
So, excuse me. So basically, what's happening is I have a little tactic going on. So I'm gonna go with Wawrinski from the USA. He's number one defenseman in the U.S., having a great season in the NHL, playing on that first power play of the U.S. Canada, U.S. I feel is the top team. So
Talking about possible MVP candidate. That's another guy that's having
another
an
guy,
absolute phenomenal season. And yes, Marchenko's having a great year too on that team, but there's not a lot of superstars on that team, right? Werenski's having an absolute MVP caliber season.
All right, so I'm in the third round here. My strategy here is not a lot of players could or will possibly be taken from Finland, but we do have to take 4. So I think I'm going to go with the best Finnish player. He plays in all situations, which is great for the special teams play. I'm going to go with Alexander Barkov, top line center with Laine and Taravainen to start. We'll see. I'm not too crazy about that line, but I am crazy about Barkov. And he is on power play 1 as well with Aho, Rantanen, and Patrick Laine, and it doesn't matter who the defenseman is. So I'm going to go with Alex Barkov as my first pick, the third pick in the first round.
all right, so round 2, I started off, and I will go with Cale Makar from Team Canada. There's no explanation. It's Team Canada. Makar, number one defenseman, playing on all situations, and with
Part of that power play with McDavid.
Part of that power play. So with all the players he's playing, I'll go with.
I was
Cale
hoping,
Makar.
to be honest, that he would have made it to me in the next round when I start. But it's okay. I won't say no to McKinnon.
There you
Well,
go.
it's your turn, my friend. So is it McKinnon?
No, I can't take Canada.
You can't take Canada, my friend.
Oh, that's right. I'm so sorry.
I cannot take Canada. So I will go with Austin Matthews of the United States of America.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice.
I mean, there's not much else to say. He's a lethal goal scorer. He's centering a line with Jack Hughes and Jake Gensel, but he's on power. That's the second line. He's on power play 1 with Jack Hughes, Eichel, Matthew Tkachuk, and Zach Werenski.
So I'm going last in this one, but and I see you guys grabbing a couple of defensemen early, or I
Just
see
Vince.
grabbing a couple of defensemen early, which is usually my strategy. And I was thinking of that for Team Sweden, but William Nylander is having a phenomenal season. He's playing on a line with Zibanejad, who is somehow rejuvenated with JT Miller trade, and Raquel. And I think that he's going to be probably the top goal scorer on Team Sweden right now. So William Nylander is going to be my pick here for Team Sweden. And that does round 2. So Vince, you're starting round 3.
No, Junior.
I'm sorry, Junior is starting round 3, yes.
I'll go with the Nova Scotia born, playing with his idol, Sidney Crosby. I'm going to go with Nathan McKinnon. Not much else to say here, guys. He's a lethal player. The only reason he's not on the first line is because he's playing with Sidney Crosby on the second line, top power play unit. I'm excited to see how this goes. But out of McDavid, Crosby, Reinhart, and Makar, who's got the most lethal shot? McKinnon. So if they find ways to make room for him on that power play, he's the one who's going to get the goals. So I'm hoping McKinnon will be the leading goal scorer of this team, Canada.
So I'm going to pick from the USA here. And I think I'm going to... I had a plan to grab a forward here. But seeing how I already have 2 forwards, I'm going to go with Adam Fox. Adam Fox is not on the top power play unit, but he's on the second power play unit. And USA is so stacked that either one of these power play units could be the first power play unit. So I like Adam Fox. He's playing first pairing, but second power play unit. And I'll stick with that pick there. Mr. Junior, Mr. Vince.
Listen, I'm just gonna.
Is
keep
this,
it
are
going.
we starting the first round all
No,
over?
this is my third pick. So
That's his third pick of round 3.
basically, I'm just gonna fill out my defense over here with another number one defenseman from Sweden. I'm gonna go with Dahlin. He's playing on PP1. I know Victor Hedman could be there also.
I think either one would have been
But
a good
Dahlin
pick.
right now on that first power play. So I'll go with my power with Dahlin. So I filled out my defensive lineup.
So it's back to me picking first.
So
Yes.
do you guys want to sum up the first
Go
3
ahead.
rounds?
Go ahead.
So Nick has Connor McDavid, William Nylander, and Adam Fox. Vince has Werenski, Makar, and Dahlin, which completes his 3 defenseman selections. And Junior has 3 forwards, Barkov, Matthews, and McKinnon.
All right.
Nick, you do not have a player from Finland yet. You are not obliged to take one yet.
I'll save it for after.
But we might get into a situation if neither of you take Finnish players that we're going to have Finland multiple times
Yeah, that's
in the
fine.
same round.
It's fine. We'll go
Oh,
with
yeah,
it.
that's a good point, eh?
We'll just go with it. Don't
We'll
worry
see.
about it, Junior.
We'll see. But we won't see now. Now we're going to go with another player that I think is going to have a phenomenal season in this short tournament.
Are we going with 4 in a row Canadians as the number 1 pick of each round?
I just think that they have such depth that it's going to be hard not to. But I'm going to go with Team USA, and I'm going to go with Jack Eichel. Because Jack Eichel's on the first power play unit. He's on the first line. He's playing on a line with Matthew Tkachuk and Kyle Connor. What a freaking amazing line.
Isn't Torts coaching the U.S.? I wonder who he's going to bench. Might be Eichel. You sure you want to do that?
You'll never bench him. Eichel's a superstar. So Jack Eichel's my pick for USA. Great line. First power play unit. I love it.
I'm gonna go with the Finland player. So I'm gonna go with Sebastian Aho, playing with his best friend Rantanen. And you know what? It's not Brenda Moore system, so I think you might have a little more freedom and actually show his flair that he has, an offensive proud that he has. So I'm gonna go with Sebastian Aho.
All right. I think here I will go with. Oof.
Did
You
I
know-
start with USA this round?
Yeah, you did.
So Canada's open for you, and Sweden's
And
open
Sweden.
for you.
So I was thinking, yeah, you know what? How can I not take Crosby? But that injury has me a little hesitant, right?
That's a good point. Fair.
I don't have a Swedish player yet. And I think I'm going to go with arguably their second best player. I think I'm going to go with Philip Forsberg
Really? Over Lucas Raymond?
over Lucas Raymond because right now they have Raymond on Joel Eriksson, Ek, and Brat's line. I'm not sure what their plan is, but I'm going to go with Philip Forsberg because I think they'll naturally give him more opportunity.
Okay.
Very nice.
All right. So that would be...
Now,
I'm going up first now, right?
so yes, this is the second turn of round 2.
We just finished round 4.
Yeah. So now
We're starting round 5.
So I'm gonna go just to put you guys in a little pickle, and I'm gonna go with another Finnish player with Rantanen as my pick. So as we explained before, the Finnish don't have too many offensive players, so might as well try to grab the best 2 out of 3. So I'm gonna go with Rantanen as my next pick.
All right. That's fair.
So it's my turn now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Ding dong, ding dong.
I'm gonna go with a lethal goal scorer. I think here.
That's what I was going to do.
I think there's so many studs, man. But I think I'm gonna go with Kyle Connor
Yeah.
Ooh, very
on the
nice.
top line with
3
Jack
points
Eichel.
for a goal, don't forget.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Kyle Connor, and I also didn't want Nick to get the pair,
I was hoping for that would come back to me.
so I'll go with Kyle Connor.
All right.
So Nick, you've got Canada or Sweden?
I've got Canada or Sweden. Well, I mentioned his name before. And actually, you mentioned his name before, and I think I should start really paying attention to what you say.
Maybe.
No.
Might help you in the waiver wire.
Psych. Victor Hedman is going to be my pick here. I need defenseman, and Hedman is the arguably, like you said, arguably the best defenseman on Sweden. I think he's a point producer. I'm going to go there.
Very nice. So we'll do one more round and then we'll do a little recap. So, Junior, you're up first.
I am up first.
Every time Junior's up, I think we need the Jeopardy music.
We should go make coffee or something.
You know what? I just think this team is going to score so many goals. And only, yeah. I think I'm leaning towards the Americans again.
That will be your last pick for the Americans. You will not be able to pick another American after this if you go with the Americans.
I think I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, he already has 3.
No, I have 2.
No, you have Matthews and Connor.
Yeah, well, you said
so
4.
we're allowed 4 from each.
You said 4 of each.
No, 4.
No,
Times
3
4
of
is
each.
16.
Sorry.
Well,
it's
12 players.
3 of each.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
3 of each to make 12 players.
3 times 4.
4
4 teams. 3.
Interesting.
So this would be your last. You're right. And
Yeah.
you have only one more Finland player.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm going to go with Matthew Tkachuk.
And that is it for your U.S. players. Matthew, I'm going to write M so that we know that it's Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, I think he'll make that line will be. I really like that line combination of Eichel, Connor, and Tkachuk. So I'm banking on them.
All right. That's
And
good.
I believe he's top power play as well. I didn't even check that. Yeah, top power play with Eichel, Hughes, and Matthews.
All right. Whose turn is it now?
It is yours, Nick.
So I'm going to go with Finland here. And the reason is because I have no Finnish players. And I'm last place. I'm last on this round. So I'll go with a player who I think has been having an absolutely disastrous December, at least.
I don't think you could take Finland because Vince started with Rantanen.
No, you started. It's a new round.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Don't pay
I don't
attention.
think you should ever
Junior's not
speak
paying
about the
attention.
rules again. He doesn't pay attention. This
Junior's
guy.
not paying attention.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Patrick Laine. He's supposed to be on the top power play. And how much you want to bet that when he starts playing for his country, all of a sudden he's going to start putting up points. And he's the last real Finnish player that has goal upside on the forward that I believe. So I'm going to go that way.
Very nice.
New round.
No, my third pick.
Oh, your third pick. I'm sorry.
So I will go. Still like a lot of players there. Here.
Okay, so while Vince is looking it up,
I got it. Lucas Raymond from Sweden.
that's a good pick.
That's who I'm gonna go with. Plays on the first power play, second line. So all these teams are gonna play at least 3 games, and there'll be 2 teams that play an extra game for the finals. So I'm banking that Sweden scores a few goals. So Lucas Raymond will be part of that. So I'm gonna go with Lucas Raymond.
Perfect.
So I'm full with the Americans, which leaves me no choice to take a Canadian player.
Well,
Who starts
your
now?
turn now. Right now we finished round 6, so we're gonna recap our teams.
Oh, my bad.
So
Not paying attention.
So no, obviously not. So Nick, to recap after 6 rounds, Nick has McDavid from Canada, Nylander from Sweden, Eichel from US, Laney from Finland, Fox from US, and Hedman from Sweden. So
I
basically,
don't feel too confident.
so Nick has one more player from the US he can pick and one more player from the Swedes. Vince, I have Aho from Finland, Rantanen from Finland, Raymond from Sweden, Warinsky from US, Makar from Canada, and Dahlin from Sweden. So I have one more Finnish and one more Sweden player. Then I cannot pick that team anymore. And to round it out, Junior's team, he's got Barkov from Finland, Matthews from US, McKinnon from Canada, Forsberg from Sweden, Connor from US, Tkachuk from US. Junior basically, yeah, Matthew Tkachuk from US. So Junior tapped out on US, so he cannot pick any more US players.
What a great pickup that Connor was. I wanted him. I was hoping he was going to fall to me.
So the 7th round, Nick, you are starting.
All right. So I'm going to go with my second Canadian player here, also playing on the same line as McDavid and also playing on the same power play unit as McDavid, and that is Sam Reinhart.
I like that was going to be my next Canadian pick.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
I
it's
like
a
that.
good time to take him right now. It's middle of the draft, and it's going to be hard to find these top line players, although these power play units could change all the time, but top power play on Canada. I have two other guys there. I can't say I'm too sad about that. Vince.
I'm going to go strategically this, and you'll understand why. I'm going to go with Elias Pettersson from Sweden because that forces Junior to take a Finnish player because he can't take anybody from the U.S.
Good. I think he should. He should actually. There's still a very good player there.
Yeah. So,
Sweden. So I tapped out on Sweden.
that shouldn't really matter because in the end, what are you guys going to do when you're stuck taking the same country in the same round?
You worry about it at the end. Right now, you have to pick Finland.
Right now, you have to pick Finland. So just pick Finland.
Okay, so I'm going to go with
Joel Omia.
No, so I think Sebastian Aho is
Oh,
still
he's there.
available.
He's-
No,
He's the
I have
Marchand.
Aho and Rantanen.
You have Aho Rantanen?
And I have
Barkov
Laine.
and Laine. So there's Teravainen, Lehkonen, Hintz, Granlund, Kako.
Alrighty then. So let's do this.
Oh, you can go for.
I don't
defenseman.
care about defensemen that much. I'll go with their number one defenseman, which is maybe hopefully he sneezes on that power play and gets a whiff of the puck and gets me a couple of points. I'm going to go with Juuso Välimäki.
Good player though. For such a long time, injuries derailed him, but he seems to be having a decent season this year. But the defense. Do you agree? Defense is the worst part of Team Finland right now.
Yeah, but they
Yeah,
got
for sure.
like shredded with it
Yeah,
with
exactly,
injuries. You know,
Yeah.
Like Heiskanen.
Heiskanen,
being out,
Ristolainen.
Yeah. Yeah, the most injured team probably going into this one.
All right. So I am off. I am first now, right? Yes.
No one had taken Rupe yet.
No. But this is who Vince is going to take. Vince is going to cap out on Finland.
Just
And
had to mention it. Huh?
He will take Rupi Hintz.
He's gonna get injured.
It's very
And
likely.
that caps me out on Sweden and Finland. So after that, Junior, your pick.
All right. So,
I would start with Finland if I were you.
you know,
He can't take Finland. I took a play from Finland.
I thought the round was over.
No, I
no,
just
he
started,
started
a new round.
Oh, you started a new one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Junior can either pick Canada, Finland, or Sweden.
I'm
No,
gonna
nothing.
round up.
Sorry, Canada or Sweden.
I'm gonna round up my team Canada. No, not rounding up my team
This
Canada
is your second player.
Yeah.
with Mitch. Show me the money, Marner.
That's a good pick, man.
That's a very
Good
nice
pick. What do we think that? He's
I don't know
do
who's
with
gonna
this
play
one?
defense on my team, but we'll figure it out when we get there.
Look, it's an exhibition game, right? So guys like Mitch Marner in exhibition do great. It's playoffs that they
Shots
can't play.
fired.
So
Adding to the heartbreak of Leafs fans, man.
So Nick, you're either tapping out on Sweden or US on your next pick.
Well, no, I still have one from Canada. Oh, because
You can't pick
I have
Canada.
to.
You can only pick US or Sweden.
U.S. or Sweden? Well, I think that strategically, I need to go U.S. right now because there's one guy that I really like almost as much as Kyle Connor,
Ooh,
and that, my friend, is Jack Hughes.
Jack Hughes. That's a nice one.
Jack Hughes is going to be my pick here, and he is the last U.S. player that I'm allowed to take.
Yes, you are. So now we are back to the beginning of the round where Junior starts. So Junior, you cannot take any U.S. players, and that's it. The other three.
You still have
countries?
Canada available to you?
Sweden, and Finland.
Sweden and Finland.
Yeah. not to get stuck taking another defenseman from Finland.
I thought you don't care about defense.
Oh, I'm so tempted to take Sidney Crosby right now, by the way, and just figure out the defense later. But there are no ads or claims or drops in this league. So you live and die with the players you take.
Brandon Hagel.
No, I will go with Josh Morrissey.
Josh Morrissey.
Josh Morrissey.
You know what?
Very nice.
There's so many good players on this team. Josh Morrissey, I think, is perfect player for this team as well. I personally might have thought of Theodore as well.
Yeah, I just figured
But-
he's more of a puck carrier, Morrissey, than Theodore is, and I was like,
So you started with Canada, so that's
That's you, Nick. not
And
me.
that does it for Canada for
Yeah,
me. So I'm
you're
left.
tapped out on Canada and US.
so I could go either Sweden,
Sweden?
Sweden or Finland.
or Finland. All
All right.
right,
Tapped out on the US.
perfect. And I was looking at a player, and I'm not even sure. Oh, he was already picked. There's a couple of players that I really like on Sweden still. Shoot. Okay. So Lucas Raymond, William Nylander were already taken. Elias Pettersson was already taken. Forsberg was
This is
already
the
taken.
second pick of the third.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eighth
I
round.
started it, right?
Yeah. There's two players here that are really, really good players. Adrian Kempe and Jesper Bratt are two players I really like. And Zibanejad has been really hot lately. He's a third player on that team that you could really go for. So I'm going to stick with the person that is on the top power play. And that, my friend, is Mika Zibanejad.
Ooh,
So I'm going to go with Zibanejad here.
I like
might,
it.
It might bite me in the behind, but
I think he might play penalty kill too, according to Daily Faceoff. So it's not a bad pick.
look, I mean, at the same time, he is currently hot. So when the player is hot and it's Valentine's Day, you got to jump on it, right?
Man, what a pickle. And
Strike while the player is hot.
I really like Kempe, though. It's hard to pass on that player, but
Yeah, he was struggling as of late though, but that's a score, man.
yeah.
I mean, the pickle of the pickles of the pickles.
So I'm done with Sweden and I'm done with USA.
So Canada, Sweden, Vince, you're capped out with Finland. You're stuck with the US.
Yep, I'm stuck.
and no
with the
defenseman.
US.
You cannot pick a defenseman.
No, but I had my player for the US already, and my player for the US was JT. No, I'm kidding. Was
You wish you had that much talent.
Chris Kreider?
Chris Kreider? No, it is Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Brady Tkachuk.
yeah. I mean, he's more of a fourth liner on this team or third liner on this team.
But second power play, he'll get over there, and when the emotions gets high, he plays really well. So,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Brady Tkachuk.
I'd rather have
no
him.
love, no love for Gensel there, right?
I'd rather have him than.
Still have time.
What?
No, Brady Tkachuk.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So now it's you.
Mir Junior.
No, Junior was the one who picked Morrissey.
Now we're starting the
You
last
picked
three.
Zibanejad, I picked Tkachuk.
Oh, okay.
So now we're back at you.
The last three, so it's back.
Like
at
the
me.
last
yeah.
set of three.
Exactly.
I got it. Okay, cool. I really don't. So I only have Canada left, and I have Finland left.
Yes.
Right?
2 Finlands and 1 Canada player that you have to pick. And a defenseman. Well, one of them has to be a defenseman.
Okay, so this is the part where I'm going to have no choice. I really don't want to finish defenseman, so I'm going to go with Shea Theodore here. From Canada.
Theodore. Very nice. And because of that, I will go.
I didn't have to put Shea.
No, you could just
I
put
could just
Theodore.
put Theodore.
So I got to go because Nick went Canada. I got to go with the US. I have no choice here. And because I'm going with the US, I will go with our good friend, Jake Getzel. And
Oh,
see how
you
that
mentioned them
goes.
before.
So, yeah.
Guys, these teams are stacked, eh? I feel like my worst team is I have the worst team on
So,
paper.
Junior, you got to go with
Sweden or Finland?
yeah.
So I have
which is-
two Sweden.
You have 2 Finlands and 1 Sweden.
No, 2 Sweden, 1 Finland, because I have Barkov and Välimäki.
That's
Yeah.
what I said. 2 Finlands, 1 Sweden.
Oh, that I selected. I thought you were
Yes.
saying that's what I've left.
No, that's still there.
So seeing as you both capped out your defenseman, I'm going to save that for later. I will go with a forward, and let's see here. So Nick still has to take Finnish forward. Vince, you completed your Finns. So I will go with a Finnish forward to get what I think is the next best one before Nick does. So Barkov, Laine, Aho, and Rantanen are taken. Has Rupe Hintz been taken?
Yes.
By Vince.
Also. So basically, there's a lot of crap that's left. And
Teravainen first liner?
you know what? I'm going to go with my boy. I just picked him up in Lama, signed him as a free agent. I think he's going to play shorthanded as well. Hopefully, maybe one day. Not right now on this lineup. Not playing on power play either. But he will make his way there throughout the season. I mean, the tournament. This is going to be a load of peanut butter and jelly. I'm going to go with Arturi Lekonen.
I actually like the pick. He's playing second line right now. It's not a nothing pick. I like that pick because it leaves me with what, Teravainen? Granlund?
You can go Capo
Capo has actually been doing
it
really
was
well
Capo
lately, eh?
Caco or Lekonen, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can do the double whammy there with Granlund and Hintz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lekkonen from
Lekkinen actually plays on the power play, so second power play unit.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't want to.
Any defensemen's playing on that? Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. Eh?
I don't want to pick
Oh,
him.
no, I actually have 2 Swedish players left to take. So
Yeah, there you go.
So I didn't want to pick him, but I guess I got to take Crosby, yeah? Sidney Crosby as my first pick for
Oh,
Team
He might miss the first game.
Hey, Team Canada, he's going to come up with those important goals, my friend. So
Crosby always finds a way.
The golden goal.
always
yeah,
finds a
I'm
way.
going to go with Team Canada, and I'm going to go with Crosby.
Do we know if this is a face-off? I mean, a face-off. Do we know if it's a cup or a medal?
We have no idea. Maybe
It's an
gift
exhibition.
cards.
It's a glorified.
So it's got to be a cup because there's no bronze medal game. It's just straight final, right?
I have no idea. You were the one that was supposed to be the
Yeah,
expert
it's
on the
straight
rules.
final. It's they all play each other once, and then the top 2 teams play each other in the final.
Apparently, they say it might be Boston Pizza gift cards. So we'll see.
This is basically the All-Star game and trying to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So whose turn is it now?
So now
Mr.
it's
Producer?
Junior.
No, I'm last. This is the last round?
No, this is. Can you just listen to me? I'm being paying attention. This is my round where I'm first.
He
you're
started a new
second,
round.
and Nick is third.
Okay. So,
I started the theater round. He started the Crosby round.
so this is the Crosby round. I have...
Sweden. You have no choice. You have to pick
yes,
Sweden.
but I have a forward spot and a defenseman spot available. But again, nobody can take a defenseman, so I'll save that for later.
And I can't take Sweden anyway. so it
Forsberg,
doesn't change.
Patterson, Kempe have all been... You chose Kempe, right?
Nope.
No, you
No,
did not.
discussed it.
Do you see
Ah.
how this worked out perfectly? Where it never had to be that we picked a team
Yeah.
because we're smart.
Some of us are, anyways.
Okay, so right now the
Sometimes you have to repeat things about 7 times for the other one.
yeah, I'm that other one. Right now
I
that
think the hat's too tight on his head.
yeah, it's
that's
the
why.
glasses. It's got me seeing stripes. Right now, I'm debating between Adrian Kempe and Jesper Bratt.
How fun is it to have drafts? Like how it's this, even though this is a nothing tournament, just having a draft is fun.
Yeah. Who, Junior? Brad?
I'm
then?
debating between Bratt and Kempe. They're both on power play 2. Neither is on power play
That
1.
was the breaking point for me. Why I picked Zibanejad, by the way. That was the part where Zibanejad was ranked as
Because
the first.
the
power
thing is like it's a short tournament, so
Very
like,
short.
I don't know how much they're gonna experiment. They're gonna just try to make it work. I would think. I don't know.
and they're going to play pretty much all 4 lines.
And
equally.
both power play units because
They don't want to embarrass anybody.
So, look, I don't know. Kempe's playing with Pedersen. I don't think I want to touch that. Bratt is playing with Raymond. I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
Joel Eriksson Ek. They're probably going to play against the best lines, though. Actually, no, that's Lindholm. Wow, guys, this is rough. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna match my Forsberg with Kempe. I'm gonna go with Adrian Kempe, the natural goal scorer.
Wow. I thought for sure you were going with Brad.
Yeah, it was a swift turn last minute. Wait till
Swift
you
last
see who my
minute,
defenseman's going to be.
Kempe and Nick.
Eric Carlson.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so I have 2 forwards left, and they both have to be from.
Finland.
Jeez, I really crapped out there, eh? All right, well, can I just make both picks right away?
No.
Jeez.
Follow the rules, Nick.
All right, Michael Granlund is the person I'm going to pick here because according to this sheet, he's playing on power play 1. So Michael Granlund from Finland, and
And now Junior goes first
Junior goes first.
with his final defense
Well, I mean,
So this is the dilemma.
from Finland.
I don't know if Eric Carlson will play more than 5 minutes a game. Unless their power play struggles and they put him on the power play. He's not on any penalty killing unit and he's not on any power play unit. He's the third pairing defenseman to Ekholm. I think depending on game situation, Ekholm could play more minutes. I think it's a shot in the dark and a hope and a prayer, like you like to say, to take Eric Carlson. So I'm hoping that while Dahlin comes out of the zone, gives it to Anderson, Anderson goes shoot to one of the forwards, and I get a goal from Kempe, assisted by Forsberg and Rasmus Anderson. I'm going to go with Rasmus Anderson, and then he'll stare at the crowd after he scores a goal or something.
like
Say, I did this for you, Junior. I did it for you.
I like it.
Rasmus Anderson, that's my guy. I can't trust Carlson to play a lot of minutes.
Nice. Nick, final finish player.
Final finish player. Well, I'm going to go with Teravainen. And I know that he's not a player I like. He's not a player that I care about. But he's, according to this, he's expected to be on PP2 and on the first line with Barkov and Laine. So everybody else is pretty much taken. I had between Kako and Teravainen, and I'm going to go with Teravainen because he's playing with Barkov.
Hey, look, when you get to this point,
Wow. I mean,
I would have loved to go with Armia.
imagine
Guy's a great penalty killer, man.
Imagine my dilemma. You guys pick Anderson, you pick Teravainen, and I'm stuck with Braden Point. I mean, sucky me.
Yeah, look, I understand what strategy you did, and it makes sense because you went with the worst team first to try to get rid of the Finnish
he
players.
basically went with our sloppy seconds.
Yeah, well, okay. You also picked your defenseman right off the bat. So Makar, Werenski, Dahlin. I would maybe question a couple of things, but let's run through the teams and then I'll
I'll run through the teams and you tell me what your strategy is. Basically, a strategy that we have to come up with today. So Nick's team, the final roster for Nick's team: McDavid from Canada, Nylander from Sweden, Eichel from USA, Laney from Finland, Reinhardt from Canada, Jack Hughes from USA, Zibanejad from Sweden, Granlund from Finland, Teravainen from Finland, Fox from the US, Hedman from Sweden, and Theodore from Canada.
All right, so basically I was hoping here to try to grab as many goals as I possibly can. I think Reinhardt is a goal scorer. Eichel being on the top line of USA is going to get his points. Sweden is a Nylander, I think, is one of the best goal scorers as well. So I was happy I got those guys. Jack Hughes, I think, was a great pick in that round. Zibanejad, Granlund, Teravainen, okay, fine. Those are a little bit more questionable. But I'm happy with Fox. I'm happy with Hedman and Theodore as my defensemen. A lot of this will depend if Laine gets his goal-scoring ability back, right, on the top power play.
So we'll go with Junior. Junior's final roster. Barkov from Finland, Matthews from USA, McKinnon from Canada, Forsberg from Sweden, Connor from the USA, Matthew Tkachuk from the USA, Marner from Canada, Lehkonen from Finland, Kempe from Sweden, Valimaki from Finland, Morrissey from Canada, and Anderson from Sweden.
All right, let me put these
So you
glasses
basically
on.
went 0D.
Yeah,
So
you
I
went 0D strategy.
love my defense, I have to
Valentine's
say.
Day.
No, so as soon as you took, I realized you were taking defensemen with your first 3 picks. I pretty much told myself and Nick had already taken Adam Fox and was taking Hedman before it was my turn. So I told myself I rather
You're going to punt.
value above replacement. I rather get my Philip Forsberg, Connor, and Matthew Tkachuk. They're going to get more points than, let's say, at that point it would have been maybe
Valimaki,
Shea Theodore, Morrissey, which I do have, but like There wouldn't have been much selection left in terms of like, okay, he's for sure gonna get me points. And I went with Barkov with my first pick to try to get the best Finn out there. Since you guys, I picked last and I didn't have much of a choice. So that's it. I just went with tried to maximize my forwards as much as possible before, especially maximizing Canada, US as much as I could before you guys did.
So my team, top to bottom. So I went with Aho from Finland, Rantanen from Finland, Raymond from Sweden, Pettersson from Sweden, Hintz from Finland, Brady Tkachuk from USA, Genso from USA, Crosby from Canada, Point from Canada, Werenski from the USA, Makar from Canada, and Dahlin from Sweden. My tactic was I wanted to get number one defenseman off the bat right away. So basically, with the second pick, I knew I was getting Werenski and Makar because obviously Nick was going to go with McDavid like any of us would have done if we were the first one. And then in second round, I was first, so I knew Makar was coming to me anyways. So Dahlin, I just took him just to fill up my defenseman. I could have waited to take him, but I just wanted in my head I wanted number one defenseman and number one power plays.
So this is called value above replacement. What you just did.
Perfect. So you see, what you guys say, I do. And then basically my forwards, I wanted to finish in Sweden forwards first because I wanted to get the best ones out of those countries because I knew the US and Canada I was still going to get players that either played on the first power play or on the second power play. So that was the tactic I went with. Which tactic will work? No one knows, but we will keep you guys posted.
Look, you're also you're hoping a little bit that Pettersson bounces back, right, from where you took him. Brady Tkachuk is right now on the third line, but he's still Brady Tkachuk, right? So, and Crosby staying healthy, I think is going to be a big difference for you. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see how the coaches react. Like, who's gonna be patient and who's gonna want to put their lines in a blender.
Yeah,
Because it is a short tournament, but it could go either way, right? If something's not working, not clicking, do you wait to try to make it work, or do you say,
Listen,
"Oh no, we got to figure it out right away"? It's a short
I
tournament.
just hope that the fact that we did this draft is going to make me want to watch this.
Yeah, I'm
A little bit.
I mean, I was gonna watch regardless, but I might be more inclined to watch Sweden Finland now than I was before.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure to follow. We will be posting this on social media.
Yeah.
And that's your job.
We can actually put out a poll. Post all three teams, see...
Yeah, I usually try to do that, and then you know what? Whoop! Time ran out.
Yeah. Yeah. But guys, like, subscribe, give us a follow. It helps us do this podcast, even though there's Monday Night Raw that Junior's missing currently, and he's still wearing the glasses.
One more thing, if I may add.
Go ahead.
In order to help support Sportira, who supports us, why don't you give them a like, a follow on Instagram, mainly at sportira.apparel.
All right, let's put the outro music one more time.
Have a good week, everybody, and good
Happy
luck to you
Valentine's
guys during this Four Nation Face-Off draft.
Yeah, I hope you end up in last place again.
Probably.
All right.
Valima.